I went to a lot of different salon owner leadership classes and conferences,
Right.
and I went for failing salons. So
Really?
I would go there and people would say, well, what are you doing here? You don't even own a salon. But I was always trying to figure out what not to do. Once I started, I can tell you, I still did what not to do.
Change is inevitable. Like every success happens because you changed something and you it was a fear that was within you.
Motivation only lasts for a short amount of time, but discipline is what carries you forward.
I can't do this on my own, period.
Are you looking at your business in terms of emotion, or are you looking at your business in terms of what's practical?
I still believe that America is the best country in the world. Where can kid of immigrants with no education become a physician?
This is Small Business Celebration, where we're celebrating small businesses for big breakthroughs.
Hello, Visioneers, and welcome to another fantastic episode here on Small Business Celebration. We're going to be talking about taking your business up a level. We're also going to be talking about appointment cancellations. Holy cow, we've been getting a lot of questions on what do I do when I keep getting all of these clients that are canceling appointments. It's screwing up my employees' calendars and everything else like that. So we're going to be talking about that. And of course, the Visioneer gang. And our guest this week is Shelly Guess, the owner of Sip Style Blowdry Bar. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
For Visioneers who don't know who are you and what is it that you do?
My name is Shelly Guess. I'm the owner of Sip Style Blowdry and Makeup Bar. And we are a blow-dry bar where we service all weddings, formals, day-to-day washes, blow dries. It's basically the idea of the customer that always would come once or twice a week for years and years and years in the salon industry. Well, now it's for everyone. No more washing your own hair yourself.
And the important thing of all this, you're not a franchise.
No, we're not yet.
Now you're going to work on it, huh?
Well, maybe we'll see.
And why did you choose not to affiliate yourself with a franchise?
I did look into it when I first had the idea, and especially because Bakersfield does not have this service or did not have this service whenever I started looking into it. But the fees and the costs and the payback was 7 to 9 years. Our demographics were 800 to 1.2 million buy-in at that time.
Wow.
And that's really high. And I just figured blood, sweat, and tears, hard work, knowing the community. I did a lot of this, laid the floors, painted the walls, blood, sweat, and tears. If the right person could tackle it, it could be successful.
And you still work here. You don't go and hide yourself back into a stock room somewhere and push paper all day. You actually get yourself involved and cut hair and everything else.
Right. On the blowout side, it's different out there because it is servicing just blow dries and makeup, updos, all of our things, the braids. But in here, I do have the salon suites that are separate, and I do perform still full service clientele, and so do the other suite owners.
How did you get involved with this? Because opening up something like this is not just something that you said, you know what, I think I'm going to open up my own shop.
Well, it's basically that.
Okay.
I've been doing hair. This is the start of my 28th year, and I started just thinking about how the industry is always changing and how things are always elevating. And I did start doing a little research on the blow dry bars because it started to be really fast growing. In 2018, it was the fastest growing beauty service in our industry. And I just started thinking of how can we bring that to Bakersfield? Would it survive here? Do we have the customer basis? And as many people know in this town, we have a really good community and they do support local, and it is always great to have a new service that something hasn't, no one has ever had before.
Tell me about the research a little bit that you got into this, because you touched on something very important on this, which is you wanted to make sure it was something that would last and not die.
Well, it goes back to, like I said, that little old lady that came once a week forever in the beauty industry, and they never did their hair themselves. And so now it was, how do you bring it to the average person through whatever lifestyle they may have, whether they're a working woman, a mom, all of it. How can we bring it to them? So you have the customer that comes all the time, and you also have the customer that always comes for their special event. We have memberships, all those things for extra savings, but it's really just to let the community know that now this is a service. I mean, look at all this hair. No one wants to do this themselves.
Right, sure.
Right.
And
And you make it where it's affordable and a fun place to go, and then you have the blow dry bar.
you zeroed in on your demographic very well. And how did you find out who your demographic is?
That came from the research. I kind of went all over the country on little trips here and there and just kind of looked at what kind of city it was, what kind of community they had, and how many blow dry bars they had in that area, and what were they performing. And you know, there's many different elements to it. So I knew, like I said, we could have a successful one here if it was just done correctly.
What was the criteria of done correctly?
Well, you obviously want customer service first and a good performance in your service. So that's what I thrive on, is always getting on to them or saying, you guys really got to elevate that.
Your employees.
My employees, they could provide a good service, but if they're really friendly, they're going to really try us again. If their service isn't so great, but they're friendly, they're going to try us again. But if it's terrible and they're not friendly, they're going to go out and tell everybody.
Right.
So you really need to know that you want people to choose to come to us. They don't have to come to us.
Right.
You know, I do a lot of mentorship for hairstylists in the up and coming and that are new, and I'm always telling them they don't have to come to you. They have to choose you. So you have to always remember that you're providing a service.
It doesn't matter what hair salon I've been into, what blow dry bar I've been into, what barbershop I've been into. They all have product to sell.
Correct.
You know, and the thing is, and even when I walk into the grocery store or even the convenience store, there's hair product everywhere. And how do you pick which ones? Because it's like, oh my gosh, it's like everybody and their brother's got one.
Franchise blow dry bars only have their product typically.
Right.
You know, I really wanted to have elevated products so that it was a very much luxury blowout. And that is one of my challenges that I face, because our customer doesn't necessarily purchase a lot of product because they come here.
Right.
You know, I don't have shampoo in my shower. So it's really hard to get that customer to purchase products when we do also want them to come here and just use our services.
Right.
So it's a double-edged sword, but I did definitely elevate my products. I use only Oribe and Kerastase, which are the finest luxury brands in the country and in the world, basically. And you can't purchase them in these little, you know, you can't purchase them at Target, you can't purchase them at Ulta.
Right.
It's very exclusive to high-end salons. And they also only allow certain salons per demographic to have their products for sale. Because we use them, and the employee base out there, I have to purchase them so that they can use them, because they're not independent contractors. I have to provide everything they use.
Right.
But I wanted the customer to get the best of everything, so I put the luxury product out there.
What kinds of customers are you typically serving?
We have a large basis of high-end women in the community coming here.
And what is high-end?
Car dealership owners, restaurant owners, lawyers, doctors, all, you know.
They sound like they're all business owners.
Or, you know, the good housewife that her husband makes a good living too.
Right?
She's a wonderful customer. So
Sure.
that soccer mom with her kids, I mean, we service all of them, but I really needed to be in a good location. I needed to have the appeal when you walked in the door that it looked luxury, but I also wanted the fun element.
Right.
That's why I did name it Sip and Style also, because you can come and enjoy a sip.
A sip of?
A sip of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. It kind of services everybody.
Right.
And it's all about the experience. Whether you want to sit there at 7 in the morning and work, have your coffee,
Right.
or you want to come and just relax with your eyes closed and enjoy that experience, or you're getting ready and you have your girls with you and you're going to get ready and go to lunch for the day.
One of the things that you also mentioned, why did you choose this location?
So I originally was going to do a full build out, ground up.
Oh, build your own place.
In a different location, a different commercial property.
Right.
And during COVID, this was a salon before, and unfortunately she closed. And I just started looking at the size, because I knew I had to do the double business where I had the salon suites, because we still do full service, versus the storefront blow dry bar. And it just fit. And I was really happy, because this is a prime central location, especially with the Parkway and the new freeway. Our customers come from Seven Oaks. Our customers come from BCC. They come from Rio Bravo. And they can all get here fairly quickly and easily.
And where is here?
9500 Rum Hall Road, Suite 306, right by the fountain in between Action Sports and Caesar's Deli.
For the business owner out there, what kind of services do you offer, and what are your hours, and how often you open?
We're open 7 days a week. We're open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. typically.
Okay.
On the weekends, on Saturdays, we open at 8. But per request, if someone wants to come in earlier, we do that. We offer shampoos, blow dries, dry styling, braids. We also offer makeup, which also sets us aside from franchise blow dry bars because they typically don't do makeup.
Really?
And we have our own makeup line that
Really?
we branded. And it's very well sought after and liked.
What is the line of makeup that you've
It's
branded?
just called Sip Style Cosmetics.
And if you're thinking about buying a new house to go with the new hair and the new makeup that you've gotten for your person, might I suggest that you reach out to Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier agent with Watson Realty. Born and raised and never left Bakersfield. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. Visioneer Kelly asks, we want to take the quality of our customers up a level. What have you done that works?
What I've done that works is the customer service. I can go back to that. I always think that that is important. Always providing the elevated, what can you do extra, what little things can you do extra so that they feel that special when they come here.
You've also reached out into the community, and you've reached out to very specific people as well to bring them into your business, and that word of mouth has grown. Why did you choose to do that?
You have to be involved in the community, especially as a small business owner or in a small business. If you're a manager, whatever leadership role of that, you have to be known in the community. And luckily, I had help. I had some support. I joined the chamber and Seppi.
The Bakersfield
Chamber.
Right, okay.
And Seppi, I will say her name because she's always been a good mentor and a good supporter of me, but she really helped me get involved in different aspects here and there so that I could grow the word and get out there more. There's still thousands of people that don't even know what a blow dry is. I need to continue to do that to get the community to know that this is a service and that we can provide it for you.
And for the guy who goes down to Oil City Barbershop downtown Bakersfield and doesn't know anything, what is the blow dry part?
The blow dry bar is where you come and get a wash, a style, curl, whichever style you want, hot tooled, dry style, and you don't have to do your hair yourself. It's simply for that. It can be, like I said, for your day-to-day or for an event. We do updos. We can service a whole entire wedding party in a few hours, hair and makeup. We do a lot of proms for the formal prom girls. All of the events in town, when you're going out to a ball or a function, we get a lot of that. So it's just so you can get ready and not have to do it yourself.
You mentioned getting out into the community and being involved in the chamber. How has that helped you grow your business?
It's helped a lot because it has allowed me to land in different groups. So I recently joined Power Hub. That was an accountability group. So that is something that I feel was very needed for me, and that struggle of trying to maintain the business, knowing what hasn't worked, what has worked, and it's keeping you accountable to stay on top of your game for the future, for your 5-year plan, for your 10-year plan, what's coming next. And so that's been really good.
It sounds like it gets you around like-minded people.
Exactly. It's for business owners or for people in management type roles.
Why is this important to you?
Because this is where I'm at, and it also helps any struggles. We can help each other out with different types of struggles you might be facing and help with the future, whatever obstacles you want to achieve and accomplish. It's basically an accountability community.
And that brings us to the Visioneer game. Now, if you're not familiar with the way the Visioneer game works, I have a random word generator here on my phone, and I have no idea what the words that the random generator are going to create. More importantly, neither does our guest.
Yay.
And what she has to do is she has to take each word and somehow associate that word with her business. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. Here we go. Our first word is compensation.
Compensation. Well, I hope to always compensate the employees, but you will be definitely compensated with your blow dry.
Sounds good. Well done, you. Congratulations on word number 1. Our second word is March.
March. Well, the month of March is coming, and I can't wait for Easter. So make sure you come and get your blowout for your Easter.
You gotta be ready for that family reunion and looking good, don't
There
you?
you go. Yeah.
Okay, and our final word is experiment.
experiment. Don't be afraid to experiment with new things. So if you've never had a blowout, come and get one. It's going to be the experience of your life.
Wonderful. Congratulations. 3 for 3. Well done, you.
Right.
And part of getting the new experience, though, is trying to do things differently, things outside of the box. And what would you do differently with the knowledge you have now when you first started the business?
That's a really good question, and it's something I still struggle with a little bit, because when I was doing my research and looking into opening a blow dry bar here, I went to a lot of different salon owner leadership classes and conferences,
Right.
and I went for failing salons. So
Really?
I would go there and people would say, well, what are you doing here? You don't even own a salon. But I was always trying to figure out what not to do.
Ah.
Once I started, I can tell you, I still did what not to do.
Okay.
Because you just get it, you get going, and the struggle and the busyness of it and all the different moving parts. And because I still work behind the chair,
Right.
3 days a week, I do 12 to 18 people. It's very busy. But my biggest thing I can say I would change is all of it said put people in leadership roles.
Really?
And it was really hard for me because, not that I'm type A control freak, but when it's your business and you've never done it and you're learning still as you go, even though I was prepared as can be, I still need to figure out how to put that person in that role. You can't do it all yourself. You have to have other people that can do certain things. And I'm still struggling with that. I've put a few people in that role and it hasn't worked out. So fortunately, I believe I finally have found a couple people to do it. But you can't spread yourself too thin. You have to have people help you or you're going to lose your mind.
But what were some of the things that you learned that you are doing differently that this time around it worked?
Well, just making sure the interview process and their knowledge and what you expect and what they can actually bring to the table match up. So that's where it's kind of hard, because you want to give people a chance and an opportunity, and then it doesn't necessarily work on either part. You know, it could have been their part, it could have been my part, the salon operations, but the past hasn't worked. Or there's been some that I really, really want to mentor to be in that role, but they're not quite ready. But I know that I'm ready. So I need that going smoothly so that I can focus on what's next and what's coming in the future and expansion and all kinds of exciting things.
The internet is filled with all these people giving advice of hiring attitude over aptitude. And it sounded like in your case, the opposite was true.
Yes, absolutely. It was. It's just getting someone in that role that can really perform.
Right.
And if I wasn't behind the chair, I could get out there and it would be easy.
There it is. There it is.
But I'm over here. So I have to have someone out there doing this to that level, because it's important to bring a 5-star experience all the way around. And that's, one thing I can do differently or wish I would have done was get that person in the role sooner. When you start, you're so afraid of, am I going to be able to afford all that? Can I pay their salary? Can I pay the wages? And what are we going to perform?
Right.
And now where I know we are at, I'm just so ready to have that person in that role, because I know it's going to make everything easier and make the flow of the salon better, which elevates the customer experience.
And elevating the customer experience is part of the reason you can afford a new house. Yes, it's a really bad toss to our Visioneer sponsor, Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier agent with Watson Realty, selling Bakersfield homes since 1992. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. Visioneer Hunter asks, the number of appointment cancellations have been steadily increasing. This is impacting our employee hours and logistics. What have you done to stem the tide of this and deal with it?
That's a really, really, really fantastic question for this day and age. I feel like people's schedules are constantly changing. You have the moving parts of illnesses and things where we used to work through them. Now, a lot of people don't, because they need to stay home and take care of their family, or they work from home, and it's just everyone's businesses are busy and schedules. And so I think it goes down to everyone's time is valuable, and you have to respect that. We have a cancellation policy that we've put in place. It's a 24-hour cancellation. Otherwise, there's a half charge if it's a no-show, or
Half charge? What's a half charge?
half charge of the service that
okay.
they've booked. So
Okay.
they get charged half a charge if they don't cancel within 24 hours, and if they no show, it's a full charge.
Wow.
They have to respect that being a small business in California is extremely difficult in many ways. And that employees out there, they still have to get paid. Not only did they take that time slot and now they're not showing up, so it can't be filled, but the employee is still there getting paid for it.
Right.
Because as an owner, you still have to pay them.
Right.
So I just think it goes down to the respect of understanding that. And it's hard because, like I said, life throws you things. And for me, being involved in this business and being where I go out there and work sometimes on the blow dry bar, and I still work here behind the chair, understanding that, and I have my person I've done for 25 years, love her to death, and I go, okay, it's okay. But out there, because it's employee based, I can't do that. And I have been doing that. I've been really respectful towards the members, and I love that they come to us and value everything about that. But at the same time, I have to buckle down on that cancellation policy, because everywhere you go, if you go to your fitness place, I can book a class. Well, I didn't have a good night's sleep, so I don't want to get up at 6 in the morning.
Right.
They're not going to understand that I didn't sleep.
Right.
So I still have to pay that fee, and it goes to everything. And I think that people, on all ends of the spectrum now should understand, respect people's time, respect their business, small businesses in California, large businesses, whatever it may be, but just respect that if there's a cancellation fee in place, know that it abides to you also.
Do you have it set up with your customers that come in that you have their credit card on file so you directly bill?
Yes.
So you don't have to chase them?
Yes. To hold a booking, you have to put a credit card on file. We always state nothing is charged until the end of service, and you can actually use a different form of payment, but you must have a credit card to hold the booking. When you book online, the website, it is stated all over. Every button you click talks about cancellation policy. It's so important. And that's what's interesting, is because we still run into it daily. Daily. And that's why I think, for me, one thing I have to work on to make things better is to stick with that structure and to not roll over because Susie had a bad night's sleep.
One of the things that's interesting about your business is that, unlike a lot of other salons, which have they're very low base and very heavy on the commission, you haven't set that up for a very important reason with your employees. Why is that?
Well, it is about their growth, and I want them to perform a good service. They are working here as a team for Sip and Style. They don't necessarily work for themselves out there, and their customer isn't their customer. That customer comes to Sip and Style.
Right.
So, but at the same time, without them doing a good service, I can't keep that customer coming in the door. So I do give them hourly plus tips and commissions, and we also do employee challenges where I'm always trying to elevate a reward to them.
How so?
We do all different types. We do them monthly or quarterly, but like right now, for instance, it is based on their sales. Sometimes they compete with each other, but this time I made it compete with them, and I personally give them an extra bonus for if they can meet the challenge. But we've given away an iWatch, different things like that, just because it's usually could be cash, something that can make them feel rewarded.
When you're not here, what do you like to do for fun?
That's a question that we're going to edit. No, I'm just kidding. No, you could leave that in there. Honestly, I always talk about like, oh, when I retire, if I can retire. And,
Right.
you know, the ultimate goal is to create something so you can retire that
Right.
can function and go on with you not being there.
Right.
But I always say I would go to culinary school. I love fitness. I probably like to drink a little too much sometimes, so I need to ease up on that. But just being with my family and my friends and, you know, traveling sometimes here and there. I have found that lately I'm not up for traveling far. I like to be home with my family.
Right.
Even though my children are adults, I do have one grandson, but I love to cook and hang out
And go watch your daughter play soccer.
and watch my daughter play soccer. My son's a bull rider. That's always fun. It's actually torture because you don't want to watch that as a mom.
Sure. One of the things that you're involved with is the current ROC, talking about mentorship. And first of all, what is the current ROC and why are you involved with them?
It's a regional occupational program is what it used to be called when I was there. Now it's regional occupational
Is that how you
center.
learned what you did?
But I did go to beauty school my senior year of high school. So I went in 1996. Now everyone's going to know how old I am.
Right.
But I fell into that. I had a friend when we were juniors say, hey, my friend, did this our senior year. And we would do our nails at home. We thought we wanted to do nails. And I went to my school counselor and I was like, hey, should I do this my senior year? Because it took up a lot of classes.
Right.
And she just said, well, are you going to go to college? And I was like, well, my mom has mentored into all of us that we go to college. We did not have any money, and all my siblings went based on sports scholarships. I didn't play sports, but I was a straight A student. So I just thought, I'm going to college somewhere. And she said, well, unless you're going to go to a 4-year school, go for it. And that to me is a funny conversation in itself versus telling someone all the opportunity they have.
Right.
Because there is much more opportunity. But at that time, I went to beauty school and it actually worked out great. I've always been able to support my family no matter what I was doing, whether I went through ups and downs, had a divorce or this or that. I always was able to provide for my family because I started working young. So I went during my senior year, graduated, and went out and started assisting. And I've always worked at high-end prominent salons in town that can further me, and the beauty industry is always changing, so it was kind of like keeping up on it. So that was something that was important to me, was that program still exists, and the success rate in our industry tends to be very low. At ROC they have a lot of different programs, and cosmetology is the lowest success rate. So they tried to gather a group of people in the community and get together and do an advisory board. And so that's what I do. And then I also go out there and talk to them on their exit plan when they're getting ready to graduate and try to get their licenses. What are their options of where to land? Because a lot of them, they're so young, they're 17, 18, they don't know what to do next.
Right.
And they end up doing nothing. The percentage ends up doing, hardly anything. There's
Right.
1 to 4% actually make it after year 4.
Wow.
So I try to mentor them on where you should go and what you should do next once they get licensed to stay in this industry and be successful.
You mentioned the success rate is not very high in this industry. And for small businesses, that's also true. Mm-hmm. What do you say to the business owner that's having a rough go of it right now?
You cannot give up, and you have to always be willing to try new things and ask for help. So putting yourself in a community or in a group of people that can help you, can give you new ideas, can tell you things to do differently, take constructive criticism. But it's just like that. Me talking to a high school student, you have to keep going. You can't give up. So you have many different things that can come at you, but if you can just always remember that you had that idea and you had that perseverance for some reason to succeed, that's in you. So you have to keep that going.
Shelly, this has been a real treat. Thank you for joining us here on Small Business Celebration.
Thank you.
And if visionaries want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
They can contact the front desk here at 661-927-0720.
What was that number again?
661-927-0720. Sip Style Blowdry Bar. And they can get them in touch with me personally.
Website?
Website is sipandstylesalon.com.
Social media?
Social media is Sip Style Blowdry Bar.
On all the platforms.
On all the platforms.
Sounds good. And if you enjoy Small Business Celebration, go ahead and like, subscribe, and notify, and we'll be right back with our final thought. Guess what, Visioneers? We have a blog. Yes, Visioneers. Simply go to smallbusinesscelebration.com/blog. Get more details, more insights about our guests here on Small Business Celebration by simply go to smallbusinesscelebration.com/blog today. By the way, why do most hairstylists not cut horsehair?
I've never even been asked that question or have any idea. Probably because we don't want to deal with horses.
I'm sure it's not their main responsibility. Or why should you only work with sharp clients?
Your scissors have to be sharp? I don't
Close,
know. Right.
close. They're a cut above the rest.
Okay.
Hello, Visioneers. Welcome to another fantastic episode here on Small Business Celebration.